Patty.
Hi.
So happy to have you here with us today. And if you don't know who we are, I am Hillary Buchholz, and I'm here with Patty Quinn, and we are the co-founders of We Heart Hounds. And we also we're so excited, we have a very special guest with us here today.
We do. So today we have Dr. Lisa Pion-Berlin is her name, and an amazing woman. We're super excited to have her with us today. She is the president of Parents Anonymous, which is a national nonprofit organization that works to support families, parents, children, and youth through a helpline and support groups. And I have their number. Let me get that to you right now, just in case. If you grab a pencil and pen, piece of paper, it's 855-427-2736 is their helpline. So if anybody needs that or wants to get in touch with them, there's the number. And it's great to have you here, Dr. Lisa. Thank you so much for being with us today.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we learned about you through a wonderful article that you wrote about, let me get the actual title of the article. So the benefits of pets for kids during COVID-19. And in it, you talk about that kind of personal connection that families have with their pets and how that can be so helpful during times of stress. And if you could give us just some kind of warning signs or things to look out for to notice when children might be dealing with stress, that would be great.
Well, the easiest thing for parents can do is, first of all, to tune into their own stress. Kids are like a radar system, almost like pets in many ways, and they will pick up things. So the first thing we say to parents, are you in touch with what's going on with you? This COVID pandemic is raging onward, and depending on your community, in different ways. So getting in touch with your own feelings and finding positive ways to deal with that is really important. Tuning into your kids, seeing that their patterns of behavior are different like never before. Younger children may be more clingy. Older children might be more reserved. Watching each of those children and knowing each of those children and how they've changed may be a warning sign for you. How do you need to sit down and talk to them? And talking about your own feelings and telling them it's okay for them to express their feelings is that first thing, because people feel overwhelmed. And whether it's school or whether it's preschool or now it's summer is over and what's going on and work is calling me back, everybody is feeling it. And so when parents first deal with their own feelings, they can be more adept at tuning into their kids. Kids are like, I'm fine. Like, don't talk to me. You know, it's like,
right.
But their behaviors, it's not just what people say or kids say, it's how they act that we need to pay attention to. And when those changes occur, you're kind of following it to say, what's up? And finding that time to sit down and say, what's really going on with you? Nothing. You know, it's like when you ask your kid what goes on at school and they say nothing.
Right.
And then you have another way of doing it. Well, tell me some happy thing that happened. Tell me what you did today. What's going, when you ask really direct questions, many people aren't ready to respond. So you have to find creative ways of doing this. Well, what music are you listening to now? You know, are you doing any online games that are fun? Or, you know, what chat places have you done? Or have you, thought up new things to do with your own pets or your own dogs or whatever? You have to find a way in, and every child is different. There's not a magic answer.
Yeah. Like, what was your favorite thing that happened today? Or, kind of just getting them to thinking about their day and being able to express their feelings about what happened.
Right.
It's important.
And this August month really ends somewhat the end of summer. And every parent, whether you have a preschooler or a school-age child, is thinking about school. What does that look like? Online. Everybody at home, everybody in these quarters together, not able to do the regular school activities, engage in sports and other things. And it's scary. Fear is a basic thing that drives us that people do not want to talk about. They'll talk about being angry, being annoyed. You haven't picked up your toys. You haven't cleaned your room. Did you take the dog for the walk? I thought you were taking it. All those become an argument, criticism, which I'm not saying any parent has the right to, but it doesn't make a connection to open up to.
Right, right. And that's one of the things that I loved about the article that you wrote, because dogs provide a really great connection with us, and they provide that stress relief. I think that, without saying a word, just being there, right? Or, allowing children just talk to their dog, right? Dogs are just unconditional love. They don't judge. They'll sit and listen. You can have your child read a book to the dog and just kind of spend time being with the dog, sharing their feelings with dogs. But, some of the other things too is kind of being part of that disruption of stress is getting them to focus on a different task. And dogs are really great about doing that as well, because you could ask your child to take, depending on the age, of course, an age appropriate activity with your dog, but taking the dog for a walk, or just playing with them out in the backyard, throwing a ball, just focusing on something else to take their mind off of the stress or the anxiety that they're having about either being at home or, life just being different, or not knowing what's going to happen in school because things have kind of been topsy-turvy this year. Dogs are just wonderful that way to provide that source of relief, which I think is really, really neat, really helpful.
Yeah. And there's a cool kind of little fun fact that I learned, that even just petting your dog for, a certain amount of minutes a day will lower the cortisol levels in you.
Yeah.
So it's
There's
just
so
like
many things that you guys are suggesting that are great. Just breathing.
Yep.
Spend enough time breathing. And I mean, breathe through your nose, out through your mouth. Even 3 times can reduce cortisol, Within your immediate family, smiling, laughing, and hugging with a dog, with other people who you live with safely is something more of. We don't do enough. And the science is very clear. Even fake laughing changes the chemistry in your brain.
Right.
Talk about the hugging hormone, oxytocin, because when you hug, it releases all this good stuff. Now, you can't hug your friend, you can't hug your teacher. There are other people. Maybe I haven't been hugging my dog lately. And mom or dad or grandma can suggest, well, they're lonely too. We're all around, and the pattern of behavior is different. And people say, oh, now time with my dog I never spent before. Well, if I have to get called back to work, am I going to feel guilty when I'm not there? And so a lot of the adults and the family members are having all these different. That's why the helpline is so important. We stand at Parents Anonymous. Asking for help is a sign of strength. So whether or not you can deal with the stress right now, or you need to reach out to somebody, you can make a call. You can send an email. And if you live in California, you can even text or chat us. We don't have the functions everywhere in the country, but I'm sure you have listeners who live in California. You can, in California, just go to the website, caparentyouthhelpline.org, and sign up to join a group. And your kids can too. We've had many parents who say, okay, all you've done is complain all day. You're moody. You're upset. Here's this number. I'm going to give you my phone. Not every kid has a phone. And say, why don't you call and talk to somebody? Then they come out and parents say, well, maybe you're right. I feel a little bit better. Maybe I don't even want to talk about it. It's empowering people to do that reach out. And you're right. Petting a dog, hugging, healing the heartbeat of another thing definitely brings down stress levels, brings down anxiety. And who's not feeling stressed or anxious? I mean, which way this is going, we don't know what. People are worried about their pets. There's at the very beginning, can pets get it? Can pets give it to you? Do I have to get my dog? And of course, that has been, in terms of surfaces and other kinds of things.
Right.
We as humans need to have face coverings. We need to distance. We need to make sure we're not in crowds of people for long periods of time we don't live with, and keep that 6 feet distance, because that's how we're going to bring this down. But I think families families are trying to make decisions now. Maybe it's a good time to get a dog, and, that's why I wrote the article also to say, what are some of the challenges you might think of? This can provide some structure, some routine, teach children how to care for another. Like you said, reach outside of themselves, not always focus on me, me, me. If I care for another, where, oh my God, has he gone for a walk? Has she been fed? That gets me out of my funk.
Right. Well, and it creates a new routine, right? If you bring a dog into the house, or if you're allowing your children to now take on a little bit more responsibilities with your dog, they're now creating a routine that's, creating a bond that's helping kind of alleviate some of the outside stressors of the world, because they're connecting on a more personal level, more emotional level. And again, kind of bringing the cortisol down, the stress hormone down, and all the good hormones, making you feel good about yourself and everything. And it increases your children's self-confidence, right, too. Yeah, so it's not just alleviating stress. They feel good about themselves.
And if you already have a dog, you're in a sense, you're renegotiating. It's like you're renegotiating your whole life. The pattern of life is different because you're all at home a lot of the time.
Yeah.
So now the kids are starting school and parents may be going back to work. What is the routine? Having a family meeting to discuss who's really taking care of them. Maybe the dog wants more attention now because everybody's home and there's a lot of people. I can go sniff and lick and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, oh my God, the dog's getting fat. Who's feeding him? What's his treats? What's this? Wait a minute. So just like you want to create some framework for your family under these conditions, dog as a family member, you want to, maybe you can find new ways of interacting, but have those conversations, because otherwise, people have said to me, yeah, I've gained 20 pounds and so is the dog, because everybody's dog. We're supposed to walk the dog because we're supposed to walk the dog. So negotiating that is part of the family commitment. That doesn't mean people who are able to take on a dog. I mean, many of the shelters were able to clear out people, dogs that were not being adopted quickly, because people said, I'll foster a dog during COVID. I'll do this. And maybe now they want to have a long-term relationship. People are looking at how to create some warmth in their family beyond the family members, and they see a pet, a dog, as a vital thing. But yeah, these kinds of human interactions help us deal with stress and anxiety, which are, and the depression people feel, the sadness people feel.
Yeah.
Cuddle with a dog and pet the dog, and you see one of your children is like, well, he's sad over there. You should, go give him some attention, give him some love.
Yeah.
And we know that in the giving you get. We have an expression in Parents Anonymous: when you reach out to another, smile at me, happy with me, do anything nice with me, you benefit first. The giver is the benefiter. And secondarily, I feel really good because you smile, I feel good. You pick up my groceries, hold the door, you say a nice thing to me. Of course I benefit from that. But first and foremost, the person doing the action is building their self-confidence, feeling better about themselves. And we all benefit from that.
Yeah. Well, and with that, like kind of checking in with yourself and making sure that you're doing well, and kind of finding your own stress levels, like also watching out for that dog, because they're so closely bonded to us and so tightly bonded to us, they can really pick up on that stress too. So kind of having that whole family checking in and seeing, okay, not only who's been taking care, but are you watching for when they're feeling stressed? And everybody is kind of getting those cues and can kind of help each other, start looking for those signs. And those signs will be apparent in your pups too, because they are just so closely bonded to us.
Yeah, they're not immune to all the stress. Yeah, they're not immune to all that.
Yeah, they're picking it up like radar. And therefore you can get very protective actions by animals over there. But is that a stress response? Is that a fight response because they attention, or is it? And I think, again, that building that family unit, building that culture of what we want, and realizing there's going to be some times we're going to have to cry, and we're going to have to, maybe people need to scream for the rafters in a helpful way. Maybe people need to pick up a pillow and scream in a pillow and say, I can't take this right now. I'm not sure how I'm going to do it. And then move on. It's the old saying, it's falling down that's so important. It's the getting up and moving forward that we all need to do.
And I think dogs need that too. I mean, I think there's some quiet time for dogs as well. So if there's a lot of commotion going on, everybody's home now, or there's a lot of, uncertainties or, in the routine and all that kind of stuff, being aware that dogs sometimes also need some quiet space, need some downtime, need some alone time. Certainly if you've got really young kids in the house, you encourage them to be around pups, but also monitoring, the time that they spend together. Because sometimes, little kids with all their exuberance and energy and enthusiasm, they don't understand, how to relate to a dog necessarily. in the best, pulling on ears or pulling on their tail or trying to ride them like a horse and things like that. So you just got to be really careful and monitor that, and know that maybe a little bit goes a long way, and give the dog an opportunity to take a break and, get some quiet space as well. But yeah, I think these are all really wonderful and thoughtful things to consider during this time. It has been an upheaval. Not one person has been unaffected, right? We're all affected by everything that's going on. That obviously includes our pets and our dogs and our family, and certainly new pets that people are fostering or bringing into their family as well. But just recognizing there is a way to coexist really in a beautiful way, right? Where we can all help each other get through this together. We're able to help each other kind of untangle all the knots and de-stress and enjoy the time together. The way I look at it, we're spending more time with family that you wouldn't have that opportunity, right? If this thing hadn't happened. So enjoy this rare gift, right? That we're all given, and try to make the best out of it, I think is all we can do. So.
Yeah.
Well, it's been such.
Talk about what we call, I think what you're saying is how resilient people can be in times of crisis.
Yeah.
So the strength that they have and whatever is happening, how can they bounce back, is the two parts of resiliency we talk about that are essential.
Yeah, that's a great point. That's a great point. So speaking of that, we're kind of wrapping up a little bit now. Were there any other key points that you wanted to cover? Some thoughts that you wanted to share with everybody before we go?
Yeah, tuning in and keep asking for help, because you may call a friend and they're not the one who can help. You may call a family member and maybe you feel judged by them, and you might feel isolated. Calling a helpline. We're open 12 hours a day, 7 days a week is really key, because we believe asking for help is a sign of strength, that we're not about blaming or shaming people. And what is the smallest thing, even if you're worried about a friend, even if you're worried about your kids, your grandkids who live in California, you don't live in California, you can still call the National Helpline, you can still email us and things like that. But seeking that help, because that's the strength you have. That need to build upon. It's your story, it's your journey, it's your life. It's not mine, it's not ours, it's yours.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And think of other places too, as you mentioned, reaching out to a neighbor, or if you're on Facebook, reaching out to other Facebook groups, right, for support, other dog loving communities for support. There's lots of places where you're going to feel love and support and care and concern to help you get through whatever stress you might be feeling. And so we hope you were able to pick up a little bit of some good tidbits today. We were super excited to have you with us. It's been such a pleasure having Dr. Lisa with us today. Thank you, Dr. Lisa, for being with us. Absolutely a pleasure. Again, if anybody needs the number to get in touch with Parents Anonymous, the number is 855-427-2736. And thank you again. So happy to have you. Such a pleasure. Hope everybody has a good rest of their day. Thank you for spending your afternoon with us. And if you have any questions for Dr. Lisa or anything, feel free to enter them in the comments below, and we'll be sure to address those.
Thanks, everybody.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Take good care. Thank you. Bye-bye.